Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd Family part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. If you jump on here live here on this Thursday evening, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Make sure to give the video a like, a thumbs up. If you have not yet subscribed, please do so. Media platforms. Tonight, I'm going to talk more about something I talked about. I say it was 1 week ago tonight. As always, it was either last Thursday or last Friday when I talked about the whole idea that pretty much the court folks have to fix college football. And I talked about how, one of the things in there said that, you can only pay your agent 5%. And I didn't think that would pass because you can't tell a grown person what they can and can't do with their money. But outside of that, a lot of the other things mentioned I thought were, pretty accurate. But the reason why I'm talking about it more tonight is because Nick Saban has made some comments this week, pretty much talking about, college football being headed in a downward trajectory. And 5 years after the fact, when I said it was a bad idea to pay players, people are starting to realize that it's a bad idea to pay players. Now, if the NIL was what it was supposed to be, which is just paying players for name, image, and likeness, it'd be okay. But the problem is name, image, likeness just means if somebody, buys a college football game and they pick you and your team to play, you get so much money off of that. If you go to an autograph signing, you get so much money off of that. If you go, film a commercial for your local TV affiliate, whether it be a car dealership or whatever, you get money off of that. Well, here's the problem. That would be the money, not millions and millions of dollars. And not only that, but just me being a Clemson fan, listening to a lot of sports talk in the Clemson area, as much as these players make off of supposed name, image, and likeness, and all these endorsements they have, I hear 1 or 2 commercials a day that features a Clemson player. So if they were truly getting money off endorsements and they were having all these endorsements, you would hear or see more than 1 or 2 commercials a day with a player. Now, I don't mean it's 1 or 2 commercials. You hear the same commercial over and over again. I'm just saying it's 1 or 2 different businesses. If you hear the same player 10 times with the same commercial, it's not 10. It's one business, same commercial over and over again. So if you're really truly making all that money off endorsements, you would hear more than 1 or 2 commercial breaks a day featuring a business that they're making money off of. Just say you're paying the players to play. Be honest about it. Say it's pay to play. But now Nick Saban's coming out and talking about it. And, I thought about something earlier today. If you're a long-time college football fan, you may recall this. Hey there, I'm going to hope that's Cigar. If I pronounced that wrong, I apologize, but glad to have you here. And if you are new to the channel, thank you so much for being here on this Thursday night. Feel free to give the video a like, a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Tell your friends, tell your family about the channel. Make sure you go live. But back in, I think it was 2007, when Nick Saban got his contract, the original contract from Alabama. And it was for right around $4 million a year. And I can remember people saying, whoa. We can't pay a coach $4 million a year. And you're paying these coaches $4 million a year, and you're not paying the players anything, when the coach wouldn't make that and wouldn't be worth that without the players. And now you've got Nick Saban making more money than NFL coaches make and get paid. And I say that because the original contract Nick Saban got almost 20 years ago now from Alabama, if that's the reason why we are. Remember the NFL people saying, you can't pay a coach $4 million. No coach is worth that much money. And if he is worth that much money, it doesn't matter, because if you're paying a coach that much and he's getting all that money from the school, then you don't have, any good talent. Then the coach gets fired in 2 or 3 years and you wasted that money. So no coach is worth that kind of money. Now you've got Kirby Smart making, I think, $13 million a year, and I want to say Lane Kiffin now makes $13 million a year. And I just wonder if the whole road we're on now is all because of the contract Nick Saban got 20 years ago, because people were saying, wait a minute, you can't pay a coach that kind of money in a year. And to this day, I still don't think any NFL coach is close to what, the upper echelon of college football makes, whether it's Kirby Smart, Ryan Day, Steve Sarkisian, any of the guys like that. I don't think any NFL coach even sniffs, what they make. But the problem is, they're trying to fix it because nobody is doing anything for the betterment of the sport. They're all talking about, how can I put more money in my pocket? How can I put more money in my conference's pocket? Piss on the other conferences, piss on everybody else. I'm worried about my team and myself. If you sit down and try to fix college football, it might would work. It is good night. I apologize, but it looks like Sharice. And for you to say over there, it must mean you're in another country somewhere else. So wherever you are, thank you so much for being here. If it's your first time being here, thank you so much for stopping by the channel. Feel free to give the video a like, a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Tell your friends, tell your family about the channel, and make sure you click that bell so you'll get notified whenever I go live. And hey there, Petrozelli, glad to have you here on this Thursday evening. And people don't understand that, you're going to have some kind of contract with these players, because until you make a player sign a contract where they understand how much they make, they're always going to want more. It's like a job. To us, it's football. It's a game. It's a sport. But to them, they're trying to make a living doing it. So just like people do at their job, you always want more money. If you ever had a job and gone to their boss and said, boss, next time it's time for me to get a raise, don't worry about it. I don't need one. I don't deserve one. I'll stay where I'm at. You just take it and give it to somebody else. I don't need more money. I'm probably worth what I'm making, so let's don't raise it. Nobody's ever said, and nobody ever will say that. So football players are the same way. They're not going to go to their, superior and say, you know what, that money you wanted to give me, you can keep it. I don't want it. Give it to somebody else. So since they're not going to do that, you're going to have to make these players, sign contracts to where they understand, hey, this is how much you're making, and make them sign the contract for 2 years, and it includes bowl games. And if you don't play in the bowl game, whether it's the toilet bowl or the national championship, if you don't 2 years and make them play in bowl games, I think you'd be fine. Sharice, I thought I already said hi to you, but maybe not. If not, I apologize, Sharice, but glad to have you here wherever you are. Sharice, I'm curious to know where you're watching from, because for you to say night or morning over there, that means you're not over here. So I'd love to know where you're watching at or listening at. I get people all the time that comment that are in all kinds of other countries. I'd be curious to know where you are, Sharice. If you're watching this right now, I'd love to hear your feedback on where you are. But they're going to destroy all the other sports. If you don't know, about 2 weeks ago, Arkansas said they were going to have to shut down gymnastics. And they were going to get rid of it altogether. And then some boosters and donors came together and stood up and brought it back for 3 years. So now we know it's here for 3 years. Now, when that 3 years is up, it may go away again. And they may get other boosters that pay to keep it around. But what's happening is you're going to eventually see college sports is going to be football, baseball, basketball, and that's it. There'll be no more collegiate golf, no more collegiate tennis, no more volleyball, gymnastics. All of that's going to go away, and you hate it because, you have kids that grow up and all throughout their childhood, they might play soccer or they might play golf, they might play lacrosse, and they have hopes and dreams of, getting a college scholarship to play whatever sport, they play at a certain school. Well, in 10, 12 years, there ain't going to be none of that. Unless you play baseball, basketball, or football, you can forget getting a scholarship to college. And it's all because of all the money they're forking out right now. Football. And it's not right, it's not fair, but it's also, not sustainable. So something will have to get fixed. Still don't know, what it is. It's morning. It's morning over there. Where is there, Sharice? I'm not sure where there is, but it is morning over there. But is it Thursday morning or is it Friday morning? I don't know where you're watching at, if you're behind us or if you're ahead of us. So is it Thursday morning or is it Friday morning? And if you're in the future, happy Friday to you. It's not quite Friday here, Sharice, but glad you're here. Nevertheless, but I hope something comes out of it because I do miss the game that I love, and I know it's still around. I know it ain't went anywhere, but it's not what it was, 10, 15 years ago. And it kind of, spoils it when you are trying to watch a game and all they want to talk about now is NIL and the transfer portal, and not talk about what's taking place on the field. I don't like the whole soap opera talk show that has become college football. I like the college football on the field product of college football. So maybe now that Nick Saban is talking, people will start listening. A lot of folks say that Nick Saban should become the czar of college football and be in charge of it because he would fix it. Because he actually isn't just talking and rambling. He's actually out for the betterment of the sport. So if people would listen to him, he might give some pretty good ideas. But he's right. Where we're going now is not sustainable. Okay, if they gave each school a salary cap, kind of like what you see in the NFL and what you're fixed to start seeing in Major League Baseball. You tell each program, hey, you've got $25 million. You don't have to spend that much, but you can't spend more than that, because then that way no school would feel the pressure of spending money. Hey, we've got to spend a certain amount to get these players, because each school is on a level playing field and each school has the same amount of money. Now, it doesn't mean you got to spend it, but it just means if you've got 25 million, you can't spend 50 million. You can spend 25 million, that's it. You can distribute that money every you want to, but that's all you can spend. If you want to spend 10 million, then you just spend 10 million, but you cannot spend more than 25 million. And I think that would help out a lot, because the thing most folks don't think about when it comes to like NIL and things like that is the more money these schools make off of NIL, the higher ticket prices. Hello from Indonesia. Your name is Sakandi. If I said that wrong, I apologize. Maybe it's Sakandi. And I am doing absolutely fantastic, Sakandi. And thank you for checking in from Indonesia. Glad to have you here. It's Thursday night where I am. Not quite sure where it is and what time it is where you are. But glad to have you here from Indonesia nonetheless, Sakandi or Sakandi. And I am absolutely fantastic. Thank you for asking. By the way, I love the name Sakandi or Sakandi, whichever one it is. Either way, I like that name. But the more you make off of these deals, the more ticket prices go up because you've got to have money to pay these players. And that's why ticket price used to be $40 for nosebleed section. Now in nosebleed sections, $160. Well, guess what? These teams keep making more money. In a couple of years, that nosebleed section seat's going to be $300. Here's the problem. You take a school like Ohio State, where their stadium holds, 105,000 people, and then you look at a stadium like Kentucky. What's their stadium hold? 50,000? Okay, well, you take just that example, just those two schools. Ohio State's going to make double the money that Kentucky makes just on the stadium money because their stadium holds twice as many people. Now, is that fair to Kentucky? Absolutely not. But how can you say you're on a level playing field if you're making the money back for your program off of stadium prices when Ohio State's going to make double the profit? The teams that are 100,000 plus, 105,000 plus are going to make double the profit of the smaller schools where their stadium holds 45,000, 50,000. Is that fair? No. But see, in the NFL model, it's fair. Everybody gets a certain amount of money. Do what you want to with it. But it's there and it's fairly distributed among every team. Well, college football is not about fairness. Everybody's about, I want to make my money. I want to make my team money. I want to make my conference money. So in order to make it fair and truly make it fair, everybody's going to have to start from the same starting line, some kind of salary cap and some kind of contract where you sign with somebody, you've got to stay for 2 years, and the amount of money you make includes playing in every, and that includes a bowl game. If your team goes to the toilet bowl and you decide I'm not playing in that bowl game, then you give some of your money back to the school. If they would do that, it would fix all of this. But the reason why the courts have got involved is because everybody hates on the NCAA, but every time the NCAA tries to make a decision, somebody just takes them to court. Just like the whole Trinidad Chambliss thing. The NCAA said, no, Trinidad's been in college since 1975. He's not playing another year. So Ole Miss said, oh, you know what? We'll take it to court. Well, they took it to court. Now Trinidad Chambliss is back all over again. That's just one example. But you see it all the time where the NCAA tries to make a decision, make a ruling, and as soon as they do that, the player in the school get mad about it, and they go to court with it. So the NCAA's hands are tied. If they tried to pass some kind of law and rule, somebody would go to court with it. So their hands are tied. It's going to be fixed. It's going to have to be fixed by the court system because the NCAA won't be able to, because every time they make a decision, the team or the player the decision's on just takes them to court. But any thoughts on any of this, please feel free to let me know. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. I told my daughter to use the word outcome in a sentence, and she said, Daddy, it's summertime and outcome flies. And that's for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, it can be over by the count of 3.